Hello, welcome to Gentle Yoga and Meditation. This is a 45-minute long class, and my name is Susan. I'm teaching for Comeback Yoga, which is a nonprofit. We offer yoga and meditation classes to people who have served in the military or who are serving in the military, and to their friends and family. You are most welcome here on YouTube, of course. Anyone is. But if you want to know more about how to join in those classes, we have in-person classes too, all around Colorado. And we have events, and you can go to our website, comebackyoga.org, and find out more about that if you are interested. Let's start. I want to begin with a meditation practice, which is really simple. It's just matching your thoughts with your breath. You can settle yourself and you can sit however you want to. Maybe you want to sit in a chair, maybe you want to lay down. You do whatever you want to do. We'll just do this for a few minutes and then we'll start moving around too. First, you notice that you are breathing. It's not a surprise. You know you're breathing. You turn your attention, your mind to your breathing, because thank goodness we don't have to pay attention to our breath all the time, because we breathe like 25,000 times a day. And that would be a lot of work to pay attention to every single breath. These breaths are special. These are meditation breaths. And you're noticing that you're breathing. Then you start to pay attention to the different parts of your breath. Notice the inhale part of your breath. Notice the exhale part of your breath. At first, when you pay attention to your breath, you might want to try and fix or change it or make it better somehow. You don't have to do any of that. Your breath is fine exactly as it is. And after a while, it settles back down into its natural rhythm and pattern. You can notice those inhales and exhale parts of your breath. And you can start to notice the in-between parts of your inhales and your exhales. You're breathing in and you're breathing out. When there are these pauses, transitions in between your inhales and exhales, and notice those too. In yoga, all those parts of your breath have names in Sanskrit. You don't have to know that. It's interesting to think of your breath as having distinct parts and having names. After you've done that for a little while, settle into the rhythm and the pattern of your natural full breath and notice the lengths of your inhales and your exhales and the pauses in between. And gradually, you can let the technique of that practice fade a little bit. You can return to your regular type of attention to your breath, which for most of us, we don't pay attention unless we're doing something like strenuous or unless we're asked to. Just return to your regular state of attention and start to notice your body, start to notice your ways that you've placed yourself, and start to notice um, your head and your torso. Notice the big structures of your body, like your rib cage and your pelvis. And I'm rocking side to side. You can do that too. Rocking is a really underrated form of movement. Helps get a little bit of movement in, but also you're experimenting and seeing how your spine feels. How does your back feel? How do your hips and shoulders feel? It's getting into a little bit of movement without asking your body to do too much. You're making an inquiry, seeing how things are. Then you can turn side to side. This is a rotation. I'm just letting my hands rest uh, and using the strength of my body to turn. And we'll do some lateral flexions, side bends, side stretching. And finally, we'll do some rounding. Round your back. So you bring your head forward and hollow out your chest. Your elbows might come out to the sides a little. And then lean back and lift your rib cage. This is our first uh, back bend. What this position is called in class usually. It's sometimes called a heart opener or a chest opener. You're letting your back open in a way that we don't normally in everyday life do. Most of the stuff that we do in every day, our arms are forward, our head is forward, we're um, either sitting or just somehow kind of curled or bent forward. Well, this is an option, and this is a complement to the things that we do all day with our bodies. Stretching out. All right. And come back to neutral spine, however you normally sit. And take a moment, notice what that was like. Notice the effects of paying attention to your breath and then starting to move your spine and saying hello to all the parts of your body. And we'll give ourselves a different position with our legs. Sorry, 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 sorry. Stick your legs out in front of you and move out through your legs, your feet, your toes. And hold on to one leg, bring it close in toward your torso, and do the same thing with your other leg. Bring it close in toward your torso. Well, I'm rocking back on my sit bones to give myself more space to make that movement more easeful. If you stay really upright and bring your leg in towards you, that's going to give you a lot of what just feels more like more stress on my body. So I'm just giving myself plenty of space, rocking back. This is an upright um, pose, variation of a pose where you lay on your back. I'm not laying on my back just yet. We'll do that at the end of class. Um, Take one leg and try crossing it over the other. You're wrapping your legs together and take your hands back behind you and see how your wrists feel here. If it's right for you to keep your hands back behind you like that, that's fine. You can also curl up your hands into fists and put the flats of your knuckles on the floor. That takes the bend out of your wrists and makes it a little nicer for anything going on in your wrists. You could also come back into your elbows and lift your chest here. So here's this another way to access the back bend, the chest opener. This is the fish pose, different variations of the fish pose. There's a story that goes along with the fish pose, which is why it looks like the way that it does. I'll tell you that story sometime. Stretch out and bring yourself back. Okay, take your leg that's crossed on top, and this time instead of bringing it straight in, try angling your foot over to the side. Can you hold on to your foot with it's the opposite foot crossing midline of your body. So if you can hold onto your foot, you can bring your leg a little bit closer toward you like that. And if it doesn't work for you, doesn't feel right, you can hold on and just angle your foot in a little bit or cross your foot across and have your foot on the floor. It's all the same thing. We're seeking this external rotation in your hip. So letting your leg and your hip stretch out and then uncross. Okay, holding on the other side. We're crossing one leg over the other and then finding your fish pose. Your fish pose might be up high on your palms, might be up high on your fists, or it might be low on your forearms, your elbows. Your head stays in line with the rest of your spine, or you can tuck your chin a little bit. So your neck is protected and your neck is easeful. And you're lengthening out the front side of your body. Keep your legs pressing in towards each other. And however you were in your fish pose, you can bring yourself up, hold on to your leg that's on top. And can you hold on opposite hand to your foot and rock? This is rock the baby's a variation of pigeon pose. And stick both legs out in front of you. Move through your feet, your ankles, and your toes. And let's bring the soles of your feet together. Hook your fingers over the fronts of your ankles. Lengthen and tilt. Bound ankle pose. And warmed up for this by doing that seated pigeon. And now we'll cross legs underneath us. Move into the table. Stretch one leg long. Tuck your toes under. Press back through your heel. Take your foot off the floor and bring your leg into parallel to the floor, parallel to the ceiling position. And bend your knee. Bring your knee underneath your body. You can bring your head toward your knee. And stretch into the tiger stretch. Your foot presses up towards the ceiling. Your knee is bent. Your chest lifts and your gaze lifts. And both knees down. You can bring yourself back into the table. Stretch your other leg long, foot's on the floor. You're pressing back through your heel, stretching out the bottom of your foot. Then you can float your leg parallel to the floor. You can bend your knee. Bring your head toward your knee toward your head. Then glide into the tiger stretch, pressing up through your foot, lifting your chest, lifting your gaze, and both knees down. Walk your knees out a little bit, put your big toes together, and let your hips ease back toward your heels. You're stretching your low back, opening your shoulders. I have my head way above the floor, but some of you might want to put your forehead down onto the floor. It's just an option. We'll lift up, stick your left leg long, put your left foot down, your left heel down, and turn and open. Side plank. Both hands down, both knees down. Tuck your toes under. Stretch back into downward facing dog. Hands and feet on the floor. Hips point up towards the ceiling. Stretching out. And we're switching sides. Side plank. Opening to the side. Facing down. Tuck your toes under. And stretch back into downward facing dog. Bring your knees back down. Step your left foot forward. And let's turn. You're turning your upper body towards your left foot steps forward towards the short edge of your mat. Your hands turn so your fingers point towards the long edge of the mat. And you can walk your hands forward. As long as your hands are firmly on the floor, you can lean forward a little bit. It takes the pressure and the weight off of the bend of your knee. Face forward. Put your arms on either side of your front leg. Tuck your back toes under. Lift your back knee. And then put your back heel down. We're lifting up into the warrior two shape. Front arm is forward. You can bring your gaze forward. Take your other hand to your heart. Feel your heart beating. And sweep your arms into a T shape. And put all your fingers together, thumbs included with your grip, with your thumbs included with your flat hand, flat fingers. Flip your front palm up, lean forward a little, and glide into reverse warrior. There's a big curve from your front hip up through your shoulder, up through your arm. You can lengthen your arm a little. Your back arm can dangle. And we'll lengthen up. Put your hands back down onto the floor. Back heel dials up, back knee comes down. Bring your front foot back. We're easing into child's pose. Hips move back toward your heels. Fold over your body. You can have your head really high above the floor, or maybe your head is closer or even on the floor. When you lift up, we'll walk forward with our hands and lean into the upward facing dog. Keep a little tone in your belly to keep your low back long and your abs turned on. Point your chest forward and your gaze forward. And use strength to pull your hips back, tuck your toes under, and do the downward facing dog pose. This is hands and feet pressing down into the floor, lengthening your spine and lengthening your shoulders and lengthening your exhales. And both knees down. Stepping your right foot forward. And we're turning towards the long edge of the mat. Your fingers point to the long edge of the mat. You can stay here. You could walk your hands forward and lean forward a little. This is a lizard pose variation. We're walking back. Hands on either side of your front foot. Tuck your back toes under. Lift your back knee. Put your heel down. And we're lifting into Warrior Two. Simple. Front leg is bent. Back leg's long. You're open to the side a little bit. Your front arm points forward. Put all your fingers together. Bring your gaze forward. Take your other hand to your heart. Feel your heart beating. And then glide it back. And your arms are in one long line. Fingers together, thumbs in with your fingers. Lean forward a little. Turn your front palm up and glide into reverse. And you're thinking about this line between your hip, your shoulder, and your arm. Your back arm can dangle. Both hands come down to the floor. Dial your back heel up. Your back knee comes down. Your front leg comes back and joins your back leg. Hips move back. Fold over your legs. Find the child's pose. Lift up, lean forward. Ease into upward facing dog. And pull back. Tuck your toes under. Walk your hands back a little. And stretch into downward facing dog. Bring your knees down. Step your right foot forward. Bring your arms on the inside of your front leg. And maybe walk your hands forward a little. This is a different variation of the lizard pose. Your hands might not come all the way to the floor because everybody's body is different. And it's not your goal to do that. Your goal is to stretch your legs. And you might have your hands intertwined, fingers intertwined, and have one elbow on the top of your leg. Or you might be in this high lunge, and maybe that's a good stretch for you. Just paying attention to what's a good stretch for you. And you're lifting up out of your lizard pose. Maybe you're already here in this higher lunge. Take your arms, cross your shoulders. Wrap your arms behind you, either at your sides or back behind you. Take one arm forward and one arm back. It doesn't matter which one because we're just going to do the other in a moment. And one arm forward and one arm back. Bring your hands to the floor. Front leg joins the back leg. Ease into devotional pose. Slide forward into upward facing dog. And pull back into downward facing dog. Knees down. We're finding the lizard pose on the other side. One leg comes forward. Your arms come on the inside of your front leg, and you can stay here. You can be a little bit higher up with your elbow on the top of your knee. You can lean forward more. Keep your front leg tracking in towards your elbow. Breathe. And coming up to the low lunge. Wrap your arms across your chest. Bring your arms behind you or to your sides, also works. One arm forward, one arm back, doesn't matter which. We're just switching next. One arm forward, one arm back. Face forward. Put your hands on the floor. Tuck your back toes under and lift your back knee and step together. We're rolling up to standing. Once you're standing, hands together, shift weight onto your left foot, take your right foot in, and we're moving into a super chill tree pose. Your foot's on the floor still, your heels in, your knees out. Take your floating leg, kick it forward, your heels on the floor. Take your floating leg and bring your toes back behind you. Your foot's still on the floor. Take your floating leg and cross. Your foot's still on the floor. And your leg that's on top is the arm that's on the bottom. This is the eagle pose. Eagle. Unwrap your arms. Step your leg that you've been moving around. Step it back. We're in warrior one position. That's a square hips, square shoulders, square position to the front short edge of the mat. Take your arms up. Lift your torso, lift your gaze. And tilt forward. You can bring your hands to your legs. You can put your hands to your hips. You can bring your hands up towards the ceiling. We'll sweep up, big inhale, step together, top of the mat. Your other foot's in the tree pose. You turn in your knee out to the side, foot's on the floor. This is a super chill tree pose, very easeful, balancing. Can still be really challenging, so give yourself lots of support. If you're close to the wall, you want to put your hand on the wall, that's a good thing to do, to give yourself more support. Just take it easy. Knee forward, your heels on the floor, and your toes are back. Dancer pose. And your leg crosses. Leg that's on top is the arm that's on the bottom. Cross and sit. Unwrap your arms. Both feet on the floor. Hips in a circle. And slide your hands down the fronts of your legs. We're coming into a quarter forward fold. Bend your knees and come all the way up. Roll through your shoulders. Take your leg that you were moving around and step it back. We're coming into the warrior one on the other side. Front knees bent, back legs long. Take your arms up. Lift your gaze. You're tilting forward. Your hands can come to the fronts of your legs. Your hands can come to your hips. Your arms can reach up towards the ceiling as your torso comes forward. Sweep down, lift up. We're stepping together at the top of the mat. Hands together. Roll through your shoulders, up, back, and down. Inhale and sweep your arms out and up and overhead. Put your hands together and draw your hands down center line. Point your fingers down. Follow your hands down. And step back to a plank position. And bring your knees to the floor. And sit. I like to cross my legs underneath me. You can sit however you like. Once you're sitting, stick your legs out in front of you. And here we'll do coming all the way onto our backs. And make sure you got plenty of space behind you to come down onto your back. Hold on to one of your legs and ease your way down. Head on the floor, thigh toward your torso. If this seems like it's not the stretch that you want, you can try bringing your thigh out to the side. You can try straightening your leg. You can try reaching down and holding onto your foot and angling your leg out in different directions. This is just one of many variations of that stretch you can do. Place your foot back down onto the floor, leg back down onto the floor, straighten it out. Then we're doing the other side. Bring your leg in toward your chest, and you can stay right like this. We're going to do one of those other variations that we just did on the other side that I just demonstrated. Maybe you didn't do them, but you could just think about it. And your legs come down next to each other, roll through your feet, your ankles, both legs in at the same time. This is a variation of Happy Baby. You can always turn the soles of your feet up towards the ceiling. You can hold on to your feet and kick around. Uh, this position, this pose, is to help sort out your low back and stretch and tone your hips and your thighs. It can be super challenging if you don't do this kind of position very often. Um, you could do one leg at a time. It's a really good way to do it. And it's a more supportive way to do it. So you do one leg at a time. You don't have to hold on to your foot. You could hold on to the back of your leg. You could just stick your leg in the air. And once you've done some Happy Baby, you can put your feet back down on the floor and rock your knees left and right. We'll do a single bridge pose. Arms long down by your sides. Press your low back into the floor. Squeeze your glutes a little and let your hips lift up. Keep your inner thighs engaged, your glutes a little bit turned on, and maybe lean forward, rock forward onto your feet so your knees come forward a little. That helps stretch out the front side of your body, keeps everything with good space. And if your hips were off the floor, let them come all the way back down. Soften up and rock. Rock your head left and right. And you can stay right here in laying down position. Maybe you want to change how your legs are. Um, if you don't like to lay on your back, you can lay on your side or you can sit up. We're going back to the beginning when we were paying attention to the different parts of our breath. This time we're adding an image of a rectangle. And look around your space to see if there's a rectangle in your space. Um, any rectangle will do. It could be the device that you're watching on, or it could be your a window or a doorway or a book or anything like that. It's just needs to be a rectangle, two long sides and two short sides. But once you've seen the rectangle, we're going to match the parts of our breath to that rectangle and just follow the rectangle around. I like to start at the bottom left corner and match my inhale to the first long side. Then the transition from inhale to exhale is the top. It's the short top. Exhale is the long second side going down. Pause between the exhale and the inhale is the short bottom side. And then just keep on going around. Inhale and exhale around your rectangle. Once you have it, then you can close your eyes if you want to. You can keep using your eyes going around the rectangle. Match your breath, match your thoughts to this rectangle breath. Allow everything to settle in, settle down. Take one more turn around your rectangle. Allow your breath to return back to its normal, steady state, whatever that is. You can let your technique of the rectangle breath fade. Observe the effects of your practice. You can stay resting for as long as you want to. You can um, turn this into a nap or a longer meditation practice. And if you feel ready, you can gradually bring yourself back up to a tall spine. Back to the beginning. You can rub your hands together. If there's anything that you want to work on for the rest of your day, or maybe bring back to your next practice, maybe just file that away for future reference. Maybe there's nothing. And let your breath be full and expansive and invite it to be just natural. Soft inhale, breath through your nose, and exhale through your mouth. Thank you so much. Thanks for practicing today with me and with Comeback Yoga. And I hope you have a really great rest of your day. Look forward to practicing with you again soon. If you have any questions, if you need anything, please go to our website, comebackyoga.org. We have a lot of really great teachers who are very passionate about teaching and practicing, and it's fun to be here and to offer these practices to you. So that's my privilege. Hope you have a great rest of your day, guys. Take care. We'll see you next time.